Yeah, these people are crazy. His leader is this Paul Ehrlich, who in 1968 wrote a book called The Population Bomb, which, like so many of the studies that came out in this orgy of pessimism and obscurantism and anti-science hysteria in the early 70s, is discredited because there is no population bomb. If you look at Russia, look at Europe, look at Japan, the populations are falling. The U.S. would be falling without immigration, and for the rest of the world, things will apparently stabilize within a couple of decades. So there is no population bomb.
Look, all I can say is I drive all over the country. There are open fields, mountain ranges. There's nobody there. There's more than enough room for billions more, folks. We'll be back after this. It's the Infowarrior with Webster Tarpley. We are back. It's the Infowarrior with Jason Bermas. We're joined by Webster Tarpley, accomplished author. The newest book is Surviving the Cataclysm. Webster, I want to shift gears and get your take on what's going on with all these town halls. We now have Obama and others out there campaigning. Now he's openly saying, there's no such thing as these death panels everybody's talking about. What is really in this legislation, and what's going on with these town halls?
Well, let's look at the legislation, or even before that. Let me just mention a couple of other people in the White House, right? Holdren also wants to take babies away from teenage unwed mothers. If they're not married, they're going to be seized and carted off. So we've also got this other guy, Cass Sunstein, in the White House, who would be one of the people who would supervise translating the law into regulations. And Sunstein believes he's a Benthamite in the Malthusian in this sense, and he also believes that you've got to essentially ration care. And he operates between a guy called Richard Posner, a federal judge in the Illinois area, who was also on the same line, and above all, this Peter Singer being this he's a Benthamite utilitarian philosopher, I guess, at Princeton.
And a notorious one-worlder.
The guy's a genocidalist, right? He wants to have, he believes in legal rights for animals. Mm-hmm. That makes him a moderate in the Obama administration because Holdren believes in legal rights for trees. So Holdren goes one better. So you've got this entire bunch of people. Now, Obama has also basically indicated a strong tendency in this direction, maybe not as explicit as these people. Obama says it was a big ethical problem for him, for his mother, to have a hip replacement operation when she already had received her cancer diagnosis. So is that a legitimate use of public resources, of the resources of society? Now, you got to put this in the perspective. This is the guy who is shoveling $24 trillion, trillion with a T, across the room to Wall Street, to Goldman Sachs, to J.P. Morgan, to Citibank, to Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Bank of New York Mellon. Right? This is the biggest Wall Street puppet of all time. The government has been completely seized by Wall Street. That's who you're fighting. You say government. It's not the government. It's Wall Street. All of these characters like Summers and Geithner, right? These are Wall Street operatives who are masquerading as government officials. So target is Wall Street, just by the by. But these characters now have shot their mouths off. Obama says he wants you to have hospice care. He wants you to have a living will. He seems to want it to say, do not resuscitate. In other words, not even a defibrillator, right, to save money. Too expensive. Therefore, obviously there's great mistrust about Obama. His wife, Michelle, what was her job? She worked at the University of Chicago hospitals. This is all written up in Obama, the Unauthorized Biography. She was a bouncer. It was a patient-dumping scheme. Poor black people would come in out of the nearby ghetto, Hyde Park, to the very modern, state-of-the-art University of Chicago hospital. They'd ask to get treated. Michelle Obama's job was to push them out, to deny them care, to ration care. One of her favorite methods was let them sit there for 3 or 4 hours, ignore them. If they look like they're poor and black, don't give them anything. This is Michelle Obama. Then you've got, other people. I mean, we could go through a whole list, right? Zeke Emanuel, somebody who's written that if you have dementia, right, if you have Alzheimer's, you should get nothing. He has his own triage. He says up to 15, you're a low priority. Between 15 and 40 or 45, you're a high priority. And then again, after 45 or 50, you're a very low priority. So you've got to somehow triage this stuff. Why do we have to triage anything when we somehow come up with $24 trillion for Wall Street? Isn't it time for people to demand their economic rights, their right to health care, because there is a right to health care? Now, the explosion that has occurred, I would say, is due to a wide range of issues. It goes back to the bailout. It goes back to the crimes of Wall Street, right? The arrogance of Geithner. Indeed, one of the things that's being protested is the arrogance of the Obama regime in general. For my program this week on Genesis, I made a list of 7 or 8 different things that people are protesting, and again, it's just this array. Some people are protesting cap and trade. The sense also that the U.S. government has been seized by international finance capital, right? The supranational, globalized financiers running the government. So I think it's great that people came out and continue to come out to protest this stuff. And let me hasten to add, though, if that's all you do, if protesting and saying no is all you do, you'll be looking at President Mitt Romney, and he will strip you and flay you and leave you nothing but your eyes to cry with, because he'll basically say no more Medicare at all, no board, you die in the street thanks to the free market.
All right, we'll be back after this. It's the Infowarrior.